This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening. Opponents have attacked new draft laws paving the way for the Mount Wellington cable car. The government says the legislation will help provide certainty for the $50 million development, giving assurances it will still go through the normal planning process. But it's being criticised as inappropriate public intervention in a private project.
This would be the view from a cable car as it climbs to the summit of Mount Wellington. It's a project that's been talked about for decades, but now the government has released draft laws that could help turn a pipe dream into reality.
We see this as a great opportunity for Hobart and for Tasmania. It's a great way to showcase the mountain, ensure that we've got year-round access.
In its current form, the Cable Car Facilitation Bill overrides sections of planning and land acquisition laws. It allows the proponents of this project to make a planning application involving council-owned land without its consent.
Without that consent from the Hobart City Council, enables the project to go through the normal planning process. Everyone will have the opportunity to have their say. All the usual rules will apply.
The Hobart Lord Mayor says despite this legislation, the development application will still be the subject of intense council scrutiny.
There's no guarantee that the DA will be successful. There's 59 pieces of legislation that it has to pass, and also the Act itself has to pass Parliament at this stage.
But opponents say the government's actions are inappropriate.
This is enabling legislation, just like the Pulp Mill Assessment Act was enabling legislation. It's about the resources of government, taxpayer-funded resources being used to facilitate and enable a private development.
It's a special deal for one private developer of the mountain, which is the People's Mountain. This is wrong at all levels, and all councils around Tasmania should be concerned about it.
The government says taxpayers won't foot the bill for private land acquisitions under the project, but could bear the cost of transferring land from council to the state government.
In terms of any compensation arrangements with the Hobart City Council, we would have discussions at the appropriate time with the Hobart City Council in relation to that.
Should a DA be approved, then they will purchase the land office, and obviously they'll agree to some terms on it, whether that's payment or who's going to look after it, etc.
While the issue is sure to attract a lot of interest, there's less than 3 weeks for public submissions on the draft laws. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
A 59-year-old man has died after his car slid off the road and into a tree near Lake Leak. The driver was travelling on Lake Leak Road just before midnight when he lost control of his Holden Rodeo ute on a sweeping left-hand bend. The road was closed for several hours. The road toll sits at 18 compared with 23 this time last year. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. Snow has been dumped on locations around the state. Some of the heaviest has been recorded at Ben Lomond, more than 30 centimetres of powder falling onto the slopes in the past 48 hours. And forecasters are predicting more until Wednesday. Road users heading to the snow are reminded to fit chains to their vehicle and to drive to the conditions. Tasmanian families of war veterans have today been given the opportunity to identify and learn the history of their loved ones' war memorabilia. The Army Museum of Tasmania hosting an event for the community to bring in items that may have been handed down over many generations.
But also it might develop, the sort of a regime of care for the items so that they, in the future these things don't deteriorate, and things like uniforms and metal objects, letters, photographs will deteriorate over time.
The museum has recently received a donation from the Yule family, including numerous medals from Colonel Yule's service in World War I and II. The Huon Valley is alive with celebration this weekend, with thousands packing Willie Smith's Apple Shed for its annual winter festival. Crowds gathering early this afternoon to soak up the atmosphere and settle in for a long night of fire and festivities.
A colour and noise spectacular in the Huon, with 65 Morris dancers entertaining the crowds with a traditional custom from southwest England.
To come and scare away the evil spirits and help us wassail for for a good harvest in the coming season. So that's always a bit of a highlight. You know, people get to shout and scream at the trees, bang pots and pans, and just make a lot of noise, really.
A bonfire the size that I've never seen before. It looks like it's made of tree logs. There's a winter feel in the air, and yet the sun is shining.
Crowd numbers expected to exceed the predicted 20,000 over the weekend.
We've got like 600 people on buses coming down from Hobart tonight. I have no doubt we're going to pack it out tonight.
The festival, a demonstration of the different ways Tasmanian produce can be prepared.
The beef's just hanging here on the hooks, and that's so that's slow heat, so really slow roasted, and of course all the charred flavours through the pumpkins. It just makes for a really lovely primal, both visually and sort of emotionally, this lovely primal sort of way of cooking. And
I love just the variety of things that are here. It's really good.
Tomorrow, the little ones are invited to rule the roost.
Got children's storytelling, we've got wassailing workshops as the Morris try and induct some of the young youth into the ancient art of wassailing.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
To the TSL now, and Hobart City Demons are back on track. 3 goals to Callendale, making the difference over Devonport. In other games, Lauderdale had no trouble caging the Tigers, while Glenorchy rose victorious from a fiery clash against Clarence. The bad blood was boiling at Blunston Arena as 2 foes faced off to consolidate a spot in the top 3. Early on, it was all Glenorchy crushing Clarence with the first 5 majors, but with 6 wins on the trot, the Roos are proven fighters. Ian Callanan showed plenty of spirit, likewise Jordan Roberts banging this one home from outside the 50 arc. But the floodgates started to open for the Magpies in the 3rd quarter. 5 goals in the term left Clarence in big trouble, and in the end, the Pies hung on by 23 points. Thor Boskett became the talk of Lauderdale Oval, kicking a bag of 9 goals for the afternoon. The sensational effort single-handedly outscored the opposition. He was well supported up forward, with 10 individual goal kickers for the day. In response, the Tigers ironed out players, but not wayward kicking. Lauderdale ended any hopes of a comeback by piling on 13 majors to 3 in the second half. With all the run, the Bombers blew out the final margin to 92 points. And at Devonport Oval, Jayden Charlton got Hobart City Demons off the ground, but Callendale was the standout in a scrappy affair. 3 goals for the game, taking the wind out of a Pies side which was on the rise. At the other end, Charlie Castles managed a miracle bounce to keep the contest alive, but Hobart City Demons found their feet, escaping with a 27-point win. To netball, and OHA has managed its first win for the season in round 13 of the State League. The side overcoming Burnie by 11 points. Meanwhile, Devon suffered a big loss at the hands of Kingston. In other games, Northern Hawks edged out Cavaliers 46-45 at the Silverdome. Cavaliers had an 11-goal lead in the 3rd quarter before the Hawks surged late in the game to claim the 1-point win. Northern Hawks remains in 3rd on the table. Meanwhile, Cripps Waratah is out of the finals race following a 42-53 loss to Karana. Cripps Waratah held the lead for only a short period, Karana proving to be way too strong. In the NPL, 2 goals to Matthew Sanders has helped Hobart Zebras overcome Devonport. In a dramatic finish, Devonport equalled the scoreline in the 88th minute before the Zebras responded with one of their own in the closing minutes to win 2-3.
Good evening. A chilly day today with showers in the west and south and snowfalls above 700 metres. Hobart, Launceston and Devonport all reached a top of 12 and it was 11 in Burnie. 12 was the number of the day at St Helens, Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park, King Island, Strawn and Flinders Island. It was 11 at Lowhead, Wynyard, Maria Island and Grove, and 3 degrees at Lyoini. The satellite shows some low-level convective cloud over the southeast of the mainland, in a cold southwesterly airstream and some thunderstorm activity over southern Queensland. On the close-up, low-level cloud across much of the state, though patchier in the east. Tomorrow, a high-pressure system located over New South Wales directs a northerly stream over Tasmania, bringing a very cold morning with showers about the north of the state. West to northwesterly winds reaching 30 knots about the west, swells to 4 metres. There's a strong wind warning for coastal waters from southeast Cape to Stanley and from Wineglass Bay to Tasman Island. A small craft wind alert is current for the southwest lakes, and there's a road weather alert for ice, so please drive with caution. A partly cloudy day for Hobart tomorrow, 12 degrees, Richmond 13, Ouse 10. Launceston early frost, then cloudy with a top of 12. 12 for Devonport with a shower or 2. Deloraine at 10. Showers for Burnie and Curry 13. Strawn 12. 13 degrees and partly cloudy for St Helens, the same for Whitemark, Swansea 14. Looking ahead now to next week, Monday rain mainly about the north with locally heavy falls about the western tiers. Tuesday showers about the north in the morning and the south in the evening. And more showers on Wednesday about the south and west but mainly fine elsewhere. Showers for Perth, Brisbane and Adelaide tomorrow. A sunny 17 degrees for Sydney and a cloudy day for Melbourne, looking at a top of 12. Now let's take a look at the current conditions around the state. It's clear all around. 7 degrees in Hobart, 5 in Launceston, 6 in Devonport. And we've had some beautiful snow around the state today. Rach, do you reckon I'll see you out on a snowboard?
No, definitely no snowboard action, but perhaps some snowball throwing with the kids tomorrow sounds like a lovely idea. Thanks for that, Britt. Well, that's all your news for now. We hope you enjoy your Saturday night right here on Southern Cross. Good night.